So, today we're diving into a really personal story that all starts with a question I think we've all asked ourselves. What happens when you try to go back? This is a story about a reluctant return to a place just loaded with memories and how it completely transformed into something new, all seen through the eyes of a friendship that's lasted decades.
I mean, really think about it. Can you? Can you go back to a place that meant so much to you and expect it to feel the same? Or does going back just change the memory itself? Well, this is the exact spot the author of this story found himself in.
And you can see why he was hesitant. For him, Phuket wasn't just some random island. Nope, it was where he spent his honeymoon 13 years ago. So the thought of going back with his best friend instead of his partner, well, it felt complicated. He was genuinely worried it might mess with those really precious memories.
So, why did he even go back if he was so reluctant? Well, the whole trip was actually a gift, a celebratory gift from his best friend since 1996, a guy named Eday. It was supposed to be a simple, fun getaway. But the moment Phuket was picked as the destination, this super generous gift suddenly felt heavy.
And the uncertainty kind of started before they even left the ground. There was this whole mix-up with a delayed Jetstar flight, and for a minute, it looked like they might not even make it. It set this chaotic, almost unpredictable tone for the whole adventure. A little sign, maybe, that this wasn't going to be a simple trip down memory lane.
You know how some adventures start off super low-key? Well, this was one of them. After landing and checking into their hotel, the first night started off deceptively quiet. They found this little halal cafe next door, and the author tried this really unique tempeh omelet. Just a simple, easy start to what was about to become a pretty wild few days.
But that calm, it didn't last long. Phuket showed its two sides almost immediately. The journey from the shiny, modern airport took them from that quiet little cafe straight into the buzzing chaos of the town. And the peace of their dinner was just shattered when they saw a tourist with a serious bleeding head injury. It was this jarring, immediate reminder that they were a long way from some quiet, sleepy resort. And from that moment on, the night really took off. Their trip through the town's nightlife was totally unplanned. It kicked off with cigars and wine at a place called Churchill's. Then they drifted to a bar that had this crazy Hogwarts-like feel. Then another with great live music. And it all ended, of all places, at a humble roadside burger stall. But here's the thing. It was right there, at that very first stop, Churchill's, that the whole trip just kind of clicked into place. What had started as just wandering around and grabbing drinks suddenly became something deeper. It turned into a moment for a real, meaningful conversation between two old friends. And what's so fascinating is their dynamic, because they are polar opposites. The author sees himself as more reflective and cautious. His friend Eday, on the other hand, is this complex guy, kind of hardened by everything life's thrown at him. And yet, it's that very difference that's the bedrock of a friendship that's been going strong since 1996.
And this quote manages says everything, doesn't it? It's such a powerful mix of respect and understanding. He sees the incredible challenges his friend had to overcome to become the man he is today. It's this deep admiration, but with zero envy, because he knows the price his friend paid.
Okay, so if you thought the first night was something, well, the second night really cranked things up a notch. The adventure went into overdrive with an even crazier night of exploring, plus a wild little detour to the absolute chaos of Batong. That's right, 7 different bars in a single night. And this wasn't just about drinking, it was about soaking it all in. From these wild layered shooters at a place called Zimplex Mixology, all the way to a soulful jazz club playing oldies. They definitely found their limit, and yeah, it was 7 bars. And their day trip to Patong was just a total whirlwind. Picture this, navigating these packed streets for lunch, then ducking into a spa to escape the heat for a classic Thai massage, then grabbing a Jordanian dessert called kunufe, and capping it all off by checking out the town's most infamous attraction, the ping pong show. A day of just intense contrasts. But in the middle of all that wildness, there are these little moments of just pure joy. At the Bebop Jazz Club, he heard the band playing a favorite song, and he just got up on stage and sang with them. A perfect, totally unscripted moment of just feeling alive. And just like that, it was their last night. This is where everything really comes together, where the whole journey comes full circle and leads to this big realization about the island, their past, and most importantly, their friendship. So after all that, the 7 bars, the music, the spa, the chaos,
where do you think they ended up? Right back where they started, at that very same roadside stall, sitting on the pavement, eating burgers from the same guy they met on their very first night. It was this simple, perfect, poetic ending.
And sitting there, this line from that Beatles documentary just pops into his head. After everything, after all the years and all the people who come and go in your life, at the end of the day, it was just the two of them sharing that burger. It's such a powerful testament to their bond.
So in the end, that fear he had at the very beginning, it was totally wrong. The trip didn't tarnish his honeymoon memories one bit. Instead, it just added this rich, beautiful new layer. Phuket was no longer just a place of past romance. Now it was a powerful symbol of friendship, too. And that just leaves you with this one big question, right? Maybe the whole point of going back isn't about reliving the past. Maybe it's about seeing those old places with new eyes, to see how far we've come, not in miles, but in who we are. Maybe the real gift of revisiting the past is seeing how different it looks from where we're standing now.